and welcome to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. Thanks so much for taking time out of your busy day today. I greatly appreciate it. I know that you'll get to enjoy such a terrific show. I'm highlighting a filmmaker based in Atlanta, and her name is Debra J Robinson. And Deborah, thanks so much for being here. I greatly appreciate your time as well.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Why don't you tell the viewer about yourself? Take us back. We'd love to get to know you.
Okay, when I go back, that's a long ways back. But at this point, I'm a native of Dayton, Ohio. But I left Dayton to go to college, and I graduated from Baldwin Wallace College, which I think maybe Baldwin Wallace University, up near Cleveland. And after that, I moved to New York because that was a big desire of mine to live in New York. I visited as a teenager, and the beat was there for me, and the creativity was there. And I decided to go to film school. Never heard of film school, didn't know film schools existed, but when I read about it, there was something about it that said, this may be the path you want to take. Once I landed in film school, the biggest lesson was you didn't have to go to Hollywood to make a film. There was a thing called independent filmmaking, and that hooked me because that meant anything that was going through my head, and a lot of ideas go through my head, I could reduce them. So I volunteered to work on an independent union organizing film about housekeepers in the Bronx trying to unionize. And once I did that, I started networking, and I was able to get a job on a film called Resurgence, the Ku Klux Klan versus Equality. And that led me in the documentary filmmaking and understanding how to get funded and whatnot. And I finally came upon the idea of doing a film about Black women comedians. And I think I was attracted to that not only because I had a friend, that Alice Arthur at the time, that was pursuing a career in comedy, but it shadowed a bit, I think, being a Black woman, being a woman as a filmmaker. And that would be my first film, and it was a hit. It's still a hit after all these years.
Did you know growing up as a young person going into adulthood that you thought that film might be an avenue that you'd like to pursue, or did you discover it in your college years that was where you wanted to go?
Not at all. When I was growing up, I did a lot of artistic things, but I didn't know what I wanted to be, and I tended to be on the free-spirited side. It was like whatever I felt and whatever I felt influenced me at the time, that's what I wanted to do. So I spent about, I would say when I was 11, 12, 13, 14 in the high school, I wanted to be a secret agent. Okay. And I looked at every James Bond film, any secret agent thing. I want that. I love that. I saw myself as that. And that's what I wanted to do. But then I started to become more politicized in high school and realized that I'd have to probably belong to the CIA to be, that's what a secret agent would be. And that did not sit well with me. So right there, I left the idea of being a secret agent. Now, I do think that when I was 12, my first sister-in-law took me to my first foreign film. I think that had an impression on me, but at the time, I don't think I thought about I should make a film, but I knew it was something very different. It was Elvira Madigan, and it was a Swedish film, and it was a love tragic film. They kill themselves at the end. Well, being an adolescent and having that romantic tendency, that really, for me, I could relate to that. Not that I was Swedish or was going to kill myself, but I liked that idea. And it wasn't the happy ending of the Hollywood films. And it was slower, not as much conversation as I haven't seen that film since then. I need to go look. And the color was very soft and different. And that's what stuck in my mind. When I was in undergrad school, I spent a lot of time in the theater, and oddly enough, one of my classes, we made a Super 8 film. You would think that set me off. Not at all. I didn't at that moment put it all together to think, well, you might be interested in filmmaking. It was literally reading about film school. It was late, after undergrad school. It was literally reading about film school that it hit me.
Now, when you were reading about film school, what was it about it that attracted you to pursue the avenue of filmmaking? Was there something that just spurred your curiosity that that's the avenue that you wanted to pursue?
Well, first of all, it was a production program at Columbia University. And the idea that I was going to pick up a camera, I did love photography. And the idea that I was going to pick up a camera and learn how to do that, that I don't know. I really don't know what it was about reading about that. But I think part of it was I didn't know there were film schools. It gave me this connection to do something that I didn't know how to get into doing anyway. It was like something foreign. It was like those people over there, I don't know how they become directors and producers, and I'm not sure exactly what they do. And I didn't know, I had never seen anything that said, this is where you can start. And you also have to remember, people, even in Hollywood, they hadn't gone to film school. A lot of them apprentice, like you take, I'm trying to think of his name. Man, it slipped just like that. But he was famous for the film Altman, Nashville. And he worked doing commercials for a long time, making commercials before he got into making films. So the people weren't going to film school. But around that time, George Lucas came out of USC, and we all know what happened there with Star Wars and whatnot. And so film school really became the thing. It was like, you're going to make these films, film school is it. So I think all these forces came together for me, and that was it. And I guess the known paths or the traditional paths, it's like a lot of my friends are attorneys because they were in the law school. And these were, I think, more stable, seen as more stable, concrete paths that you would have a great income and be able to take care of yourself. I was on a risky path. And that's it. I think it was always going to be a risky path.
We have probably some viewers that would like to pursue a filmmaking career or who are trying right now. Do you think that going through film school is a good pathway to become a filmmaker?
I don't say yes or no. It's dependent upon the person. Okay, it's dependent upon the person. Now, I'm gonna tell you, film school is really great because you get hands-on equipment, you network with people. It's the same old thing. Okay, as far as school and getting into a career. There are other ways, though. I mentioned that I volunteered to work with filmmakers. Okay, you can do a combo of that. You can take. There's a lot of technical schools you can take, or in workshops and things like that. There's a lot more out there. And you can combine that however it works for you. Okay, that's my suggestion. However it works for you. I teach video production in high school. If I had me for a teacher in high school and had access, that's the other thing, equipment's changed. Once we got digital video and whatnot, it made it affordable for people to produce things. So if it were me and I was in a high school program like this and I wanted to do filmmaking, I would do the high school program, I would volunteer, I would take classes and workshops. And it never hurts if you want to have a college degree, but you can do a combination that works for you. And it depends on where you are too. If you're in New York, you're going to have a lot of access to a lot of different things. If you're in Oklahoma, not so much. You may want to go to film school, okay, just so you can dive into it. But it's a combo out there now. It just depends on the person and what you want to do.
Okay, let's hold that thought. We're going to take a break. I'm Deborah Gilbert. You're tuned into Arts and Entertainment. We'll be right back.
Right now, the COVID-19 vaccines are available to millions of Americans, and soon they will be available to everyone.
This vaccine means hope. It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
I want to go back to work and I want to be able to move around.
To visit with Michelle's mom, to hug her and see her on her birthday.
You know what I'm really looking forward to is going to opening day in Texas Ranger Stadium with a full stadium.
We've lost enough people and we've suffered enough damage.
In order to get rid of this pandemic, it's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
I'm getting vaccinated because we want this pandemic to end as soon as possible.
So we urge you to get vaccinated when it's available to you.
So roll up your sleeve and do your part.
This is our shot.
Now it's up to you.
And welcome back to Arts and Entertainment. I'm Deborah Gilbert, your host. Thanks again for being here. I really appreciate it. Well, we're talking with an Atlanta-based filmmaker, Debra J Robinson. And Deborah, again, thanks for being with us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
How has COVID affected your world? Are you working on any films right now, or has it stopped you for the moment?
How has COVID? Actually, it's been productive, not as far as production, but restoration. My films are actual films, 16 millimeter films. So there's no facility to show those. So they had one of them, I Beat 'Em Ben Was Is, that's the film about Black women comedians. It has been restored. And that takes a lot of work to get it restored, working with the lab and going back and forth. So now it's getting it ready to enter distribution again. Kiss Grandmama Goodbye, that's a black and white narrative film. Restoration is pending. And so I'm still, I have application in for funding, and I expect that'll come through. And that way, that film can be go into distribution. Then I have a video documentary called Black Women on the Spectrum. And it is about it profiles 4 Black women who have, that are on the autism spectrum, what was once known, was still known as Asperger's syndrome, but people have railed against that. They don't want to use Asperger's, who documented this type of autism. So everyone is now just somewhere on the spectrum. And so that is due to be released this year. It is under consideration at film festivals. So it's been productive, but not productive as doing a production. So that's the next step, is to start thinking about what the next production is. And also, I did interview Rhonda Handsome. She's a comedian, and she was in my original film, but now she's had an arc in her career, and I interviewed her. And just before, man, it was like just the week before New York shut down, I went there and I recorded her performance at Tribeca Performance Center. So I have that, and that will go, of course, with her interview that I did on Zoom, which was a new experience, in interviewing someone on Zoom. And so I will, that will come out as well. So I guess actually it's been pretty productive. If you take somebody out of all the other little stuff they do all the time, there's nothing to do but become productive.
Now, you had mentioned teaching. Are you teaching right now? Yes,
I am. This high school, I am in DeKalb County High School, school system. And we were virtual entirely up until about 3 weeks ago, and they started hybrid situation where you have to come back to school. And I didn't come back until I was fully immunized. I didn't think it was a good idea to be in school. I'm still not even sure if it's a good idea to have school virtually. I think it would have just been better just to do it for the full year. But that's a whole nother story, but I wanted to get that in for other teachers. So yes, I am teaching now. We're on spring break right now, but yes.
I read in your bio that you published a short story collection called Energy Lines. Tell us about the collection.
Over time, I wrote short stories. I just write short stories. And after a while, I noticed, I said, you have quite a few short stories here. And I decided to publish them. And that's how it came about. And I wasn't thinking of, I'm going to write a book or I'm going to do a book. It was just a very organic way of working. I had, without intention, but intentionally. And I know that somebody's going to say, what does that mean? It means I didn't set out to write a book, but once I had the stories, then I became intentional. Like, I think I'll publish these. So that, and a lot of them, I hate to say meditation on death or dying or anything like that, because people think it's a downer, but by no means is it that.
How about for the viewer that's thinking about doing what you've just done with the collection? Is that hard to be able to write short stories and then get it published? What was the process that you went through?
Okay, for that I self-published. So as far as writing short stories, the only way to write is to read a lot and to write. That's that's all you can do, and get feedback about what you've written. The self-publishing route, I took that because at the time I don't think I was thinking about becoming a author. I wasn't going after it like I go after filmmaking, because I think of myself first and foremost as a filmmaker. And so I decided, I can self-publish this, and it goes right along the same thinking of independent filmmaking. It's like, I'm not going to wait and go through sending out and whatnot, going to publishers, please, please, please publish me. I'm going to just publish it. And I learned a lot doing that, how to do it. Now, what I now need to do is the promotion part. And I think I'll get someone to do that for me, because the promotion, that comes hard. And that is a whole job in itself. And so after a while, you have to realize what you're good at, what you're not good at, and what you want to be good at. I think you can be good at anything, but it's like, do you want to? So now I have to get someone to promote. And if anyone's thinking of self-publishing, look at a lot of companies and what they offer to self-publish, because some of them will just do everything. But I advise you to really read the contract and see if that's what you want. I did the layout myself because I understand, how to use a lot of different platforms. So that was easy enough for me to do, was to do all the layout and everything. That's publishing.
Do you foresee yourself writing more collections as you are aging? Is that something that you'll do along with filmmaking?
Yes. I don't know if it will be short stories or just long narrative in terms of, I hate to say novels, but that's what they are, or nonfiction. I have several ideas, and I'll see how it comes together. But yes, and I don't think it has that much to do with age. It's just I've discovered I was an author as well. That's basically it. In fact, why did you say aging? I don't understand that.
Well, I was talking really about your journey of life, if you would continue to be pursuing being an author as well as a filmmaker. Is that something of interest for you?
Oh, okay. At this time, yes. That journey of life, it changes, okay? It does, and it doesn't matter at what point I find that I am. It's like things change. And I think that's the willingness, is to, we always hear this, but really enjoy the process and be willing to make the changes. And that is what I am focused more on. It's like, let me enjoy every step of this process, because it is fun a lot. You get to meet different people. I have a distribution consultant for the film, and I've learned a lot from her, and I enjoy talking to her and get different ideas. So it has taken me down other roads in my process. And so right now I say yes, filmmaking and writing. Now, actually, I've written scripts before, and so I was writing the whole time. When you edit film, you're rewriting, because whatever script you did, be it documentary or narrative, when you get to the post-production, to the editing room, you're going to have to do a rewrite, because it didn't come out exactly, unless you're Alfred Hitchcock, it didn't come out exactly as planned.
We are running out of time. Any closing thoughts for the viewers?
Just look for me in the out there in the future. My IG is Purple Flower Films, so that's where I am on Instagram, and just Purple Flower Films, and you will find me. Thank you.
Deborah, thank you so much for being here as my guest today. I really appreciate it.
And thanks again, Deborah, for asking me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you again. And I'm Deborah Gilbert. You've been tuned into Arts and Entertainment. Thanks so much for spending your day with me. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon. Have a great day.